Hello, and welcome to another Mannun's Minute. Alright, so I'm here to set the record straight. I run into people all the time who say, Wicca? It's too white lighter for me. I'm not exactly the pacifist type. Where did this nonsense come from? Pacifist, white lighter? Not the Wicca I was raised with, especially British traditional like Gardnerian. And if you are a white lighter and or a pacifist, great for you. This is not a video against you at all. This is just telling the truth about Wicca. There's this growing assumption floating around that Wicca is some kind of ultra-passive, love and light only religion. You know, the kind where people believe we're supposed to just smile through being disrespected or harmed, and where the whole practice revolves around lighting candles, hugging trees, and never ever standing up for ourselves. A lot of this misconception comes from a surface level reading of the Wiccan Rede, and it harm none, do what ye will. Another lot of it comes from some of the modern books that have been written on Wicca as of late by authors who have absolutely no idea what the frick they're talking about. Hey, I get it. That line sounds super gentle, but if you stop there, if that's all you understood about Wicca, you're only seeing a sliver of the whole picture. Wicca, especially in its roots, like British traditional Wicca, again, that which includes Gardnerians and Alexandrians, for instance, has never been a turn-the-cheek kind of path. We're not out here pretending that the world is all light and no shadow. In fact, Wicca is rooted in the idea of balance. That means day and night, life and death, creation and destruction, justice and mercy, and yes, light and dark. We embrace both sides, not just the fluffy one. Let's take a closer look at the Rede for a second. And it harm none, do what ye will. Sounds nice, right? But that phrase has been warped over time into something that's practically weaponized against Wiccans who dare to acknowledge shadow work, defense magic, or even justified anger. People treat the Rede like it's some kind of magical handcuff, like it forces you into being some sort of spiritual doormat. But the original intent of the Rede is not to say don't ever act if someone wrongs you. It's meant to encourage mindfulness, responsibility, awareness of consequence. It doesn't mean don't act. It means think before you do. Ask yourself, what are the ripples of my actions? Who gets hurt? And is it justified? Because sometimes, yes, sometimes harm is justified. Self-defense, protecting your loved ones, setting boundaries, calling out injustice. These aren't acts of cruelty. They're necessary, and they're part of being a full, balanced human being. Now let's talk history for a second. The early British traditional Wiccans, like Gerald Gardner and Doreen Valiente, they were not floating around chanting good vibes only. These were folks who understood the complexities of power, consequence, and spiritual discipline. They weren't out here writing grim wars filled with hexes and bindings because they thought everything should be resolved with a group hug. In fact, traditional covens have always acknowledged that there is a time for protection, for justice, for defensive magic when it's warranted. The idea that Wicca was ever meant to be neutralized of its power or its bite is a modern misunderstanding. It's come about in part because of the popularization of Wicca through books, movies, and yes, even social media influencers who lean heavy into the love and light aesthetic. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone chooses to focus on healing, compassion, and peace in their personal practice, more power to them. That path is beautiful, but the key here is choice. Wicca doesn't demand pacifism. Again, I relay that because I know I'm going to catch flack for this video. The key here is choice. It doesn't require light-only work. It's not a religion of denial, it's a religion of integration. Real Wicca, especially traditional Wicca, isn't about being a good witch in the way pop culture wants to define it. It's about knowing yourself, knowing your shadow, acknowledging your power and owning it with integrity. We work with both the god and the goddess, masculine and feminine forces, light and dark, action and rest. There's no room in Wicca for pretending one side of nature doesn't exist. Ever look at the natural world? It doesn't shy away from storms, predators, or decay. It all plays a role, and so should we. Being pacifists only actually tips the scales out of balance. It denies the darker, more complex parts of ourselves and the world. And Wicca is all about harmony, not suppression. So no, we're not turn the other cheek witches. If someone slaps us metaphorically or magically, Wicca doesn't say, just stand there and take it. It says pause, reflect, decide your next move wisely, and accept the results of your choice. If you decide that protection, confrontation, or even a little bit of justified wrath is necessary, then so mote it be. As long as you own it. Wicca isn't about being a saint. It's about being whole. It's about walking in both the light and the shadow, and knowing when each serves you best. So the next time someone says, "Oh, you're Wiccan? You must be one of those love everything, never do anything types," just smile and say, "Harm ye none, but take no shit." Because that, my friends, is what real Wicca looks like.